So Call of Duty released their Season 1 Reloaded update, and in that update came changes to the Tombstone. In this video, we are going to go over the Tombstone setup, increasing your stash acquisitions, and where to exfil. Also stick around because I will share the most important change that may be causing you to lose your Tombstone. Hi, welcome to the channel. My name is Mayhem Carlos. If you enjoy this video, drop a like and subscribe for more mayhem, where I share gaming content, which is currently the Modern Warfare 3 Zombies. That includes strategy, camo, and challenges. Now, in this video, I am testing strictly on PC, but I will discuss how to exfil on console. Since the Season 1 Reloaded update, Tombstone works a bit different. So first, let's go over setting up your Tombstone. When setting up your Tombstone, you want to place all the items you would like to place in your Tombstone for each game or to duplicate in the gear tab. I recommend going in with the Tombstone perk to make sure this is a quick and easy setup. So as soon as we are in the game, we are going to drink our Tombstone perk. If you didn't bring in Tombstone, that's completely okay. You can buy this at one of the Tombstone vending machines located on the map. Once you have the perk activated, you are going to go to the location that you would want to set your Tombstone at. Personally, I like the location that I selected because this is the easiest exfil for me on PC through that Act 4 portal. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. So you have all your items, you have the Tombstone perk active, and if you're like me, this is just my personal preference, but I like to have a large backpack in my Tombstone already, so I don't need to buy one the next game. But next, you're going to drop your self-revive that you may have, and you are going to either get downed or down yourself and then bleed out. Do not plead for help and do not leave the match prematurely. Let the timer fully count down to 0, let the elimination screen pop up, and then leave the match when the game prompts you to after the XP. This will then take you to the Modern Warfare Zombies main lobby. Now please stick around through this video because this setup step is a key part that has changed since this update, and I will be going over it a little bit more later in the video, and this is the main reason why people are currently losing their Tombstone. So we just set our Tombstone, meaning in the next game that we jump into, it will be there. Now in this next game is where you start preserving your Tombstone. So before we go into the next game, you can either change your character to one that has a large backpack already, or you can keep the character that has nothing, and you will need to buy a large backpack in game before stowing everything in your Tombstone. So once you're at your Tombstone, make sure to stow everything. We just want to go in there and make sure our Tombstone actually breaks. After this happens, you can now exfil at any one of these special extraction locations. Again, we'll discuss more about this later, but I prefer the Act 4 Bad Signal mission portal since the timing is easier both on PC and on console. So when you're at the portal, you're going to enter the anomaly, say yes on your map. Once the portal activates, there will be a purple wormhole animation. On console, once you see this animation begin, this is where you'll want to go through the process to close and quit your game. And on PC, as soon as the screen turns black is when you will close out your game. Now, when you open your game back up and go to the Zombies main menu and into your gear tab, those items that you had in your backpack will still be in there. That's it for setting up your Tombstone. And from here on out, every time you enter into a game, as long as you are repeating the steps that require you to go to your Tombstone, make sure it breaks, then exfil by closing out of the game at one of the locations, your Tombstone will 99.9% always be there. So now let's discuss the changes to the Tombstone since this update. Since the new update, this Tombstone method can and should only be done solo, and that's when doing the initial setup. If you do this in a squad or have self-res, the game will fail to recognize your Tombstone. The reasoning for this is due to the fact that if you are in a squad, you have or had a chance to get revived and saved from a member on your team. And the same goes for being solo and having self-revive. If you have self-revive and you're trying to set up your Tombstone, the game won't accept it for the same premise that you could have been saved since you had a self-res. So make sure to do this solo, and if you are in a squad, leave the squad. The devs in this new update added a feature allowing you to leave any squad you are in, so you want to make sure that you're doing that first before you're setting up your Tombstone. Next, let's go ahead and discuss the duplication side from the update. So from my testing and what I can gather is if you have in your stash already items that you stashed away that were crafted, the game's going to pick up on that, and that is why it's preventing you from stashing a higher limit in your acquisitions. So the workaround here, personally for myself, is I deleted my entire stash and I started all over again. And I tested this, and now I can stash items again instead of being prompted to destroy them. And now when I exfil and unequip these items, they just automatically go into my stash now. I do not have to do the workaround of swapping them out with a rewards or purchased items and then unequipping. I can now just unequip and they go into my stash. Next, let's go ahead and discuss the extraction points. We know how to extract from the Act 4 portal, but how about the other special extraction points and the regular exfil locations that are in tier 1, especially if you secure a schematic in game that you need to exfil with in order to secure it. So let's go ahead and start with these other special extraction locations for PC. This is going to be the exact same method. When the heli leans back and the instant the screen turns black, you are going to close out of your game in order to preserve your tombstone. On console, when the heli leans back, this is when you're going to want to go through the process to start closing your game. I strongly recommend on console that you use the Act 4 portal mission to exfil, because this is a timing issue. Now with the tier 1 exfils, again, this will be the same method. When the heli leans back is your cue to begin the process to close out the game. And the reason why I say this is because on PC, you're gonna close out the second you see the successful exfil screen pop up. And on console, it's going to be a timing issue here. I know on Xbox, you can see the background of your gameplay when you're going through the setup to close your game out, but on PlayStation, you cannot. However, going through this route to exfil and close the game out is one of the only ways to secure any of your schematics that you retrieve in game. But in some cases, any of the higher tier loot that you exfil out with doing this method won't be available when you boot up the game again. Your schematics will register and be secured, but sometimes the items won't be there when you boot the game up again. Now, in terms of the red worm entering the dark ether and completing story missions, I am still testing out this method. However, I highly recommend that you complete these without doing the tombstone in order to kind of feel that experience of completing the actual game mode as intended. So if you want to stay up to date and see when I upload these videos and updates on how to keep your tombstone through defeating the red worm, entering the dark ether, or story missions, or anything and everything Modern Warfare Zombies, make sure to subscribe to the channel to unlock the mayhem so you don't miss any uploads. And if you found this content helpful, make sure to like the video. This does take a lot of time to create these videos for you in this detail, so it is much appreciated. And until next time, peace.